Hey guys, LEGO Minecraft 369 here, back with the long-awaited Retired for Revamps. This is a video and possibly series in which I choose some of my mocks to, I guess, decommission and then make better. Without further ado, here we go. First up is Ixoba, a Toe of Gravity. As you may be able to tell from his name and or from his height, he's a member of Magadi's old team, the Toe of Ecta. As is customary with Toe of Gravity, he has a black and purple color scheme with some added silver and gunmetal. If I remember correctly, he's my only mock with purple as a main color. Like the other Toe of Ecta, he's tall enough to be considered a Bionicle Titan set. However, he's the only one of the 6 whose body is almost entirely made up of CCBS parts. The resulting lack of weight is why he doesn't have leg stabilizers. When I built Ixoba, I wanted to give him the look of a tank. I feel like I achieved that as he seems pretty well armored just about everywhere. However, the excessive armoring brings me to one of my least favorite parts about this mock, his feet. I don't necessarily think they look bad, but they're very clunky and oddly proportioned. For example, the ankle is about 5 units off the ground. It's not uncommon for Titan sets to have ankles more than 3 units up, but they also usually have much larger feet. From heel to toe, Ixoba's feet are barely longer than they are tall. Furthermore, the heels are about as long as the front part of the foot. They don't really look bad, but I'm compelled to change them regardless. Next, we move on to the head. Ixoba's Kanohi mask was inspired by Scott TJT's mock BIONICLE, a Toe of Gravity as well, who wears the Great Mask of Awareness. According to an annotation in Society of Guardians episode 25, the Mask of Awareness grants its wearer the ability to notice even the most minute of details of his surroundings, allowing him to make keen decisions. There's really only one thing I don't like about Ixoba's head, which is how it interacts with the body. The mask hits the armor in several positions, mostly when he's looking down. Lastly are his weapons. His melee weapon was inspired by the Graviton Spear, which also belongs to BIONICLE. I haven't really decided if it's capable of anything special other than channeling elemental energy, but I could steal more from Scott and say that it creates black holes. Ixoba's ranged weapon is just an unnamed energy cannon. Again, there's nothing really special about it. When I revamp Ixoba, I plan to take a lot of parts from the new Onua set. His new form should have the purple color scheme much more spread out on his body, and I may take silver and gunmetal out of it entirely. I don't know what the new feet will look like, but one idea I had was to utilize Onua's feet. I'm also likely to use Onua's chest piece. It's obvious that the Toe of Ecta are notable for their height, but that isn't the only thing I made unique to them. Each Toa has some form of equipment made of protosteel. Magadi's fin is made of protosteel, as is Poacher's axe. On Ixoba's current form, the protosteel is the plating around his neck and shoulders. When I revamp him, it might be his shoulder pads, his weapon, or something else entirely. At the end of the canon Bionicle storyline, the Kanohi Ignika devolved Tahu into his original form so that he could use the golden armor. Now I imagine Tahu on a quest to find a way to regain his Nuva form. Why he's alone and why he's in the outskirts, I didn't really think through. So let's just skip the story and get to my Tahu mock. Even though he lost his Nuva form, Tahu did not lose his adaptive armor. I created this desert form for him, but I think that he will just look like the official 2001 or 2010 set when he's in the outskirts. Instead, his revamped form will be another form created by the adaptive armor. The mock has a nice blend of original pieces and CCBS. The body and arms utilize the additional ball cups, while the legs and head stay more classic. Speaking of the head, this mock has the same problem as Ixoba. Tahu's downward vision is better but still limited. Not only that, but I feel the Avmatoran head makes him look a little odd. Moving on, one of my favorite parts about this mock is the armor from the Hero Factory set Explode. I think that they look smooth on the arms whether or not they're bent, and I also really like the way I connected the one on Tahu's back. I think the tubes are a nice addition as well. The only reason I don't want this on my Tahu mock is because I don't think it's befitting of Tahu. Instead, I think it'd be better on some non-Toa creature. Finally, we have the weapons. Tahu carries a normal flame sword in his left hand. I'm not a big fan of having the sword faced this way as opposed to this way, but I thought it'd be different for whatever reason. He holds a ranged weapon in his right hand that shoots flame spheres from the top part and streams of fire from the bottom. As with Ixoba and Onua, Tahu's revamped form will probably use a lot of pieces from the unofficially named Omega Tahu. It will probably be much more CCBS heavy as well. The only color I can guarantee will play a major role in his new form will be red. Black, orange, gold, and silver are all up for consideration as well. The new Tahu's mask will more than likely be the new Mask of Fire, but I'm also considering the first and last How molds. I don't know what his new weapons will be yet, but I can almost guarantee a fire sword. This last mock may seem a little familiar, and that's because it's my Dalu mock with an imperfect palette swap and some other subtle changes. Unlike Ixoba and Tahu, Shadow Dalu is not a character that I plan to have in Legends of Spheres Magna. Instead, she was created for Maniamax 1613's Evil Twin mock contest. There are several reasons why I didn't enter her into the contest. First and foremost, I was lazy and didn't get around to making the video in time. That's nothing new for my channel, unfortunately, but it was mostly due to the fact that I was trying to be a perfectionist with this mock. The biggest issue at the time was that I couldn't find either of the gunmetal Tacadox heads that came with the 2008 Takanuva set. I wasn't, however, trying to make a replica of her telekinetic lance, so I just used a shadow sword from another mock. My other dilemma was color scheme. I wanted to do a perfect palette swap of the original Dalu mock, but I ran into some complications. For example, all of the silver pieces were supposed to turn gray. Unfortunately, I didn't have any of these pieces in gray, and I don't think a red-orange version of this piece exists. Otherwise, it was a perfectly palette swapped replica. I even replaced a blue peg with a black one. Now, I didn't forget about the fact that I'm revamping the mocks in this video. I originally included her on the list before I found the Tacadox head, but now that she has it, I figured that the quote-unquote revamp of Shadow Dalu will be her Eidolon. You may have seen my Halloween special that came out in December. In it, Garen dressed up as Narag. He explained in the video that Narag was his poorly named Eidolon, which is similar to the Toamada's Shadow Toa. Instead of being turned evil by a Shadow Leech or other means, an Eidolon is just an evil copy. If all goes as planned, the Eidola will appear near the end of Legends of Spheres Magna. The Eidola are supposed to look similar to the original Toa in shape, but they won't be nearly as perfect as I tried to make Shadow Dalu. They're also supposed to be entirely grayscale, save for red eyes and small Technic pieces. Lastly, they probably won't have weapons, as their bodies are supposed to be made of shadow, meaning they can create their own weapons. By that logic, they can also theoretically shapeshift, but clones of the Toa are the forms they prefer to take. Anyway guys, that is it for Retired for Revamps. Fun fact, not a single picture except this one was repeated in this video. Anyway guys, let me know if you want to see more of these in the future, because I do have several other mocks that are in a similar position to these three. But that is it. This is LEGO Minecraft 369, and see ya!